We think about Gift of the Givers and so many social NGO organizations that step up. We think about those service clubs like Rotary and Lions and Round Table. We think about those organizations like that exist in places like Mitchell's Plain, who paint out the graffiti, who clean the parks. You are noticed. Thank you very much for what you do across this province. That is about responsible citizens, picking up litter on our beaches, making sure that together we build a better province. Mr. Speaker, our commitment to our priorities remains. Of course, we're a government that's moved from one term into another, but while we mark the start of the 7th administration, we will continue to focus on our priorities of building a growing, inclusive, infrastructure-led economy that creates jobs, of building our energy and water security to support and enable this very economy, creating safer communities, and a push for devolving power of SAPs down to provinces, supporting law enforcement resources to build a safer province, further improving the province's education and healthcare systems. Speaker, while speaking about jobs and the economy, jobs are the bedrock of building a prosperous province. Speaker, 74% of households in this province already have at least one salary earner in that household. That was given to us by Stats SA, run by the national government.
Order, members. Order.
Speaker, but I am obsessed.
Order. Order. Premier, please take your seat. Honourable members. Order, members. I'm on the floor. Honourable members, you will have an opportunity tomorrow to fully engage the Honourable Chief Whip of the Opposition. The members, you will have an opportunity tomorrow to fully engage and put your rebuttals to the input by the Premier. It's now the Premier's opportunity to do so. Can I please ask that you work with me and afford the Premier the opportunity to deliver his input, and you will have the same protection tomorrow when you do yours. Honourable Premier, you may continue.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, I'm obsessed about jobs and enabling more jobs, because with a job, so much is unlocked for our residents. We are determined to make it as easy as possible for the private sector to do business and create more jobs in our province. We are doing this through initiatives like cutting red tape or the ease of doing business. In the last term, saving business 2.4 billion rand. Small and medium-sized businesses are the engine room of our economy. And Speaker, our SMME Booster Fund assisted hundreds of SMMEs, supporting and sustaining thousands of jobs. And of course, this will continue. This is part of our growth for jobs strategy, our overarching blueprint for breakout economic growth. It is already 1 year old, and we are seeing encouraging outcomes from this bold plan to fuel economic growth. It has set us on a path to building a strong, inclusive, and diverse economy in which all our residents benefit. Just some of the achievements of the work across the government include 1,684 businesses supported, 15,304 jobs created or sustained, 7.5 billion in new investments facilitated, 2.8 billion export declarations reached, of which 1 billion was for the African continent, 28,348 residents supported with at least one economic opportunity pathway, 14 ease of doing business improvement interventions supported. It is through continued work like this that we will bring our unemployment rate below 20%. And while that has been stubborn for the last while, we will continue to push and continue to work hard to bring it below that 20% mark. Speaker, that is why we will work tirelessly with the Government of National Unity to ensure that Operation Vulindlela's plans are implemented. Here in the Western Cape, we want to see it make an impact on improving the viability of our port, freight, and logistics networks because we need to get this economy moving. While it is encouraging to see more trains on our railways, there is still not nearly enough to transport goods and people to work and to markets. I urge the Government of National Unity to prioritise seeking private investment opportunities in the Port of Cape Town, because agriculture is a critical economic enabler of this province, with well over 50% of South Africa's agricultural exports coming from here. To enable jobs in agriculture, we have provided agricultural education and training to 2,248 registered students, offered short skill courses to 17,098 beneficiaries, and improved financial support to 539 qualifying students in the last term. We have also supported land reform initiatives in this province. 83% of land reform farmers supported by this government are now considered successful agricultural businesses. The Western Cape is open for business and attracting more investment. Earlier this year, Speaker, the RMB and BER Business Confidence Index showed that confidence in this province is well above other provinces. We've also seen a sustained improvement over the last while of business confidence in the Western Cape. And it starts with business confidence and then moves to enabling investment, the growth and the jobs that we are looking for. But we must do so much more, Speaker, because the challenges are still so severe. Speaker, I've once again made infrastructure-led economic growth and job creation a core priority of my term. I'm going to work tirelessly to get the critical mega projects off the ground that we need to enable our economy to thrive. Once the critical steps to create an infrastructure pipeline are in place, we will make sure that these are shovel-ready. Because when they are shovel-ready, the finances can flow. We will set up the Department of Infrastructure with we set up the Department of Infrastructure with the sole purpose of building a future-proof province with the foundations of innovation, empowerment, and integration. Over this term, the Western Cape government will invest billions in fixed assets, catalytic growth projects, and agricultural infrastructure, because we know that our investments enable private sector development and more jobs. Speaker, the Western Cape is leading in delivery of affordable housing with the first home finance program. We are building homes as fast as we can, and in the last term, 43,000 housing opportunities. To restore dignity to vulnerable residents, this government is working hard to ensure housing beneficiaries receive their title deeds. I was with the Minister not so long ago in Paarl, where we did exactly that. You hand over a housing unit, it has solar panels on the roof, it has low energy light bulbs, but it also comes with a title deed. That is how you really empower a citizen. In the last term, 17,705 title deeds were registered to these beneficiaries. Speaker, we will continue to innovate in this space too. The Conradie site, which is now in phase 2, but in this term we need to see many more Conradies going up in the city centre, in town centres and across this province. Speaker, just over 2 months ago, the Minister of Infrastructure, Joseph Simmers, and I officially opened the N7 refinery interchange. This 250 million rand project was the product of years of meticulously planned hard work and aimed at connecting communities, enabling the economy. This interchange is far more than just tar, steel, and cement. It should also be seen as an economic enabler, linking citizens to economic opportunities. But also in the planning of this bridge, it's not just a bridge. You see what goes into it, and I spoke about future planning, the pipelines, the space for the data and technology underground cables. That is all planned in, so you're planning for the future, planning to deal with more rain and more droughts. That is how we've got to build the infrastructure of the future. And just this month, we gave an important update on the 640 million rand Malmesbury bypass upgrade in the Swartland region. This upgrade is part of Strategic Integration Project 5. It's a national infrastructure plan 2050. It is part of the project of this province of how we link in to that plan. Construction started in May 2023, and the project is expected to be completed by 2025. Speaker, our residents, and specifically our youth, need skills to be able to participate in infrastructure-led growth. Speaker, we will continue with the unique Western Cape Masaki Sizwe bursary program, enabling our future engineers. We will continue with the Year Beyond program. This program focused at 18 to 25-year-olds, giving them a helping hand into their future. These young people are the NEETs, not in education, employment, or training. In the last term, more than 10,000 Yebones benefited from this program. And Speaker, just recently, a week or two ago, the Minister of Cultural Affairs and Sport handed over 1,000 youths at a conference their starting certificates. This is much like the other projects that we lead. I'll speak about the Day of 1,000 Opportunities, but initiatives like this and this conference was a launch pad for young people who are embarking on their journey into the future and into their careers. The ICANN Centre, Speaker, in Elsie's River has provided 15,000 skills development initiatives to date. And since 2020, the Western Cape Government's experiential learning program has helped 12,420 young unemployed South Africans, mainly from disadvantaged backgrounds, to secure permanent and contract jobs here in the Western Cape. Enabling Job Seeker Voucher, which was launched a few months ago, will continue to enable young people to get to opportunities, to get to that space where they can have an interview. And of course, working with the private sector. I mentioned the Day of 1,000 Jobs. It's interesting to see how that project, which started at the Athlone Stadium with the BPO sector, where we would call 1,000, sometimes 2,000 young people in one day to the Athlone Stadium, and 1,000 of them would be given a job in the back office processing sector that very day. That project with private sector has expanded beyond BPO now, and I now see the retail sector now using it as a space to draw young people into that sector. I see the finance sector is also using young people through the BPO who really excel and taking them up into the finance sector. This is very exciting, and these are the gateway opportunities created, and we will continue to create many more of them in this term to come. Speaker, with energy security, I spoke about water, energy. We cannot grow our economy if we do not have affordable, decarbonized, reliable energy. Speaker, we are close to 4 months now with no load shedding and an improved energy availability factor, the EAF, which forms the generation perspective of our region, and that's really great news. But our country is still at risk. We still need to make sure that we keep the energy plans going. And we need to, in the next 5 years, double down on our drive to make the Western Cape energy resilient by empowering the private sector to invest in renewable energy sources. The 5,700 megawatt plan, still on track. Small town, Riversdale, this project, how can we get a small town to be load shedding free and lead that charge? The land is identified, the electrical connection is identified, the support from this government in enabling the procurement processes has been dealt with, the EIA very quickly dealt with, and that project nicely on track. Energy Council, this is still a space where all of this comes together, and I'm very pleased that the Minister of Energy and the Deputy Minister will again be joining our next Energy Council. It is the place that we hold each other accountable, get the job done, but also bring in Eskom. I'm actually quite concerned with the number of breakages or breakdowns that Eskom has been experiencing over the last while, affecting our citizens. And we need to have a discussion with them in that very space. Our energy resilience program has already seen 2,000 megawatts of energy in development. And last year alone, we saw 743 megawatts added to the province's power system. According to NERSA, 39% of the total investment value of new generation projects amounting to over 7 billion registered from January to March this year are here in the Western Cape. This has led to an installed capacity of 213 megawatts, of which 105 new generation facilities registered here in this province. We've also launched a wheeling toolkit. We support municipalities, bringing in the World Bank, making sure that their project preparation and project management teams are in place. Our hospitals continue to roll out their energy systems and energy risk mitigation plans. Schools, I think about partnerships as well, not only just the government projects. I was in Cloetesville, where the Stellenbosch University partnered with the Cloetesville School, and how they now have solar power battery systems, and they're able to sustain school while load shedding happens. Energy packs were handed out to grade 1 and grade 12 students in the low LSM levels. GBV shelters and the elderly were given energy packs. And DG, thank you, those last few also handed to neighborhood watches. We backed our municipalities where they have SMME hubs, and they've got solar panels and battery systems. And of course, an SMME fund to help businesses sustain their businesses, and many of them received funding from this government. We need to make sure that we are energy secure. An energy secure future is the better place for investment. Speaker, all our efforts in this government are ultimately aimed at enabling more jobs. And the tourism sector remains a key sector and key job enabler. Speaker, tourist arrivals have again, between January and March, grown by 16% year on year. We think about December, where all records were broken of tourist arrivals. And every single time that tourists arrive, we create more jobs. For every 100 international visitors, the Western Cape gains 2.1 million rand in direct tourism spend and adds 500,000 rand to GDP and creates 2 more local jobs. Speaker, the Air Access project again has brought more airlines, and the latest of which is a direct flight from Lusaka, Eswatini, and Sao Paulo. We saw in December 215 direct flights coming in to Cape Town International Airport every single week. Speaker, our unique heritage in our province also plays a critical role in tourism. It's about who we are as people. And on Friday, the 46th session of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee proclaimed World Heritage status for 3 sites in the Western Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. As part of the South African nomination, the emergence of modern human behavior, our province was recognized, as well as KZN, as I said. And Minister, thank you very much for going to get this recognition. The Pinnacle Point site complex, the Diepkloof rock shelter in the Weskus, and the Sibhudu cave in KZN have all received this status, this global recognition. Thank you very much. This adds again to our offering when we sell to people coming from around the world to see who we are. And this tells the story of our past. And I really look forward to see how this builds to even a bigger story.
Speaker.
Because as we've said...
Honourable Premier, please take your seat. I recognise the Honourable Chief Whip of the Opposition. Is that a point of order?
Yes, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker.
What is your point of order?
Speaker. On a point of order for relevance, we have communities that came to visit us here today to come to listen to a speech and plans for the Western Cape. On relevance, can the Premier just please stop bragging and showing us a show of what we don't want to see? Can the Premier please share the plans of the Western Cape? We want to hear that. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable the Chief Order members. Honourable Chief Whip, you had an opportunity. I recognized you. it's now my opportunity. Honourable members, Honourable Chief Whip, you rose on a point of order, and before I could make a ruling, you started interjecting. So that, firstly, that is not a point of order. And if you, I'm not going to, from the chair, dictate what the Premier can and cannot say. You will have an opportunity to rebut that in your reply tomorrow. That is not a point of order. Honourable Premier, please continue.
Much, Speaker. Speaker, a safe province is a prosperous province. For both visitors and residents, safety is an absolute essential. I'm very proud of our law enforcement advancement plan and the leading partnership that we've got with the City of Cape Town. Since its inception, our courageous men and women who are deployed every day to some of our most crime-infested neighbourhoods across Cape Town work tirelessly to make our communities and our community members feel safe. Armed with data and evidence, technology and dedication, our LEAP officers have made more than 34,000 arrests and counting. Beyond Cape Town, our provincial rural safety units are on patrol in the Swartland and the Overstrand municipalities, with K9 units now in Swartland, Overstrand and Mossel Bay regions. In addition, there are now 477 accredited neighbourhood watchers in the province with more than 14,632 patrollers. They are a vital part of our safety and security network. Speaker, to beat back crime, we need adequate resources to remain a serious concern, and these remain a serious concern for me in our province. The police service in Western Cape are not properly resourced. The province's police-to-population ratio sits at around 1 officer to every 417 residents, well below the national ratio of 1 to 435. When you drill down to station level, the figures are even worse. At Cloutiesville Police Station, it's 1 officer to 1,228 citizens. In De Doorns, it's 1 officer to 1,988 citizens. In Luandle, it's 1 officer to 958 citizens. But Speaker, I'm encouraged by the Provincial Police Minister of Oversight and Community Safety, Minister Marais, who has just had a very positive meeting with the Western Cape Police Commissioner, and I'm glad to see him here. Welcome, General. But also with the National Minister. And I heard some interjections in this House, but my own interactions with Minister Mchunu have been good. And the meeting that you held between the City of Cape Town and the province, what I'm hearing out of that meeting really encourages me, because the Minister is saying, let's have a look at a new model of policing in our country. That really encourages me. And that, again, is something that this province can benefit from, this government of national unity. But, Speaker, you can definitely give that a hand. But, Speaker, I think this House must also play a stronger role. If that's the police-to-population ratio, we need to ask the questions, because it's quite easy to change that. And oversight in this House really needs to make sure that we get that safety right for our citizens. Speaker, helping the most vulnerable in our province. While we must do everything to fight crime, we also need to look at the conditions that our residents live in. Our Social Development Department is the heart of our government. Where residents fall through the cracks of society, our hard-working social workers are there to catch them. For the most vulnerable, it is imperative that we help them get back on their feet. Earlier this month, the Provincial Minister of Social Development, Jaco Lont, helped to officially reopen the newly refurbished Horizon Secure Care Centre here in Cape Town. It is one of 7 such facilities in the province managed by the department to assist youth who have been in conflict with the law. Beyond the 5 newly built classrooms facilitated for vocational skills training and recreational offerings, among other features, This centre represents the care and responsiveness our government shows for people who need help in getting their lives back on track. The daily reality for far too many people in our province may not necessarily mirror the successes of our government. The cost of living crisis has too many households in a vice grip. We may be creating jobs, but too many residents are not feeling the relief of these economic opportunities. No one should go to bed hungry ever. Through growth, we create food security. By enabling communities, we can feed our communities. To boost food production at the community level, in the last term we supported 48 smallholder producers, 172 subsistence producers, and 3,308 households in the production of food resources like food gardens. You will see once we've finished with the MTech processes and each minister starts to deliver on their plans for the future, you will see how food security plays more and more of a role in how this government goes to work every day. Speaker, over the same period, we have dished up cooked meals to those in need through 102 community nutrition and development centres and 358 soup kitchens across the province. At our schools, more than 500,000 vulnerable learners receive free meals each year through the school nutrition program. As a team, we have already agreed that the Ministers of Health, Education and Social Development will work together to identify these gaps and take our extensive current feeding schemes to the next level. We must fight hunger with healthy, affordable meals. We have to be innovative. For example, one of the ideas is that the Minister of Education is going to look at how we can send a weekend meal home with that vulnerable child. Because they get a meal every day at school, but what happens on Saturday and Sunday? Speaker, while I crisscrossed this province earlier this year, too many of our residents spoke to me about poor services they receive from their municipality. There is a lot that we do in the Western Cape government to hold municipalities to account and support them, because it is at local government level that many vital services are delivered. But Speaker, we know that we have to address Section 139 of the Constitution. It is not right that a province can step into a municipality when that municipality hits the wall, because services have long faded in that space. This is a discussion that we had with the Minister of Cocta. This is a discussion that I've already started at PCC level, and in the latest GNU Lekgotla a few weeks ago, I raised this issue again. We've got to relook at Section 139. We think about how long it's taken just in Knysna with the service delivery failures that those citizens have had to endure. It takes too long. We need to intervene in a far quicker way and a far more substantial way. But Speaker, while I'm often frustrated, I'm also super proud of what our municipalities do. In March this year, the results of the Independent Research Institute Good Governance Africa 2024 Governance Performance Index confirmed that many Western Cape municipalities are by far the best performing in our country. The index showed that Cape Town, the best performing metro in South Africa, recognized for high standards of service delivery. It recognized the top 4 district municipalities in South Africa in the category with no water service authority, and these are ranked from the top 1 being Cape Winelands, then West Coast, then Garden Route, and then the Overberg municipality, the top 4 district municipalities in South Africa. The best 3 local municipalities in South Africa are also all from the Western Cape, Speaker. Swartland, best small town, followed by Drakenstein, best secondary city, and then Saldanha, best large town in 3rd place. Again, this reflects the years of investment. This reflects the years of investment in our local governments and supporting them to serve our residents. Speaker, I feel such a sense of achievement and pride when I see the government, or I see government done right. And I believe we are doing that here in the Western Cape. But while we have set the bar higher, we must raise it even higher. Since the elections, we have met as a cabinet and with the provincial top management to set our priorities for this term. We've also, as I've said, met in the national Lekgotla. We've met and already started, even before the election, with the framework of our provincial strategic plan. I'm excited by now that the team is now looking at the challenge we face and how we find different ways of tackling the pressing issues that we face. The ministers will now be working with their teams and looking at how we land those programs and policies in the medium-term budget policy framework in October, as well as in the budgets that will be tabled next February. We also have to land them clearly in our PSP, which will also be tabled in October. We will be also looking closely at the national plan as it unfolds. And interesting there again, that for the first time, this province, having seen that national plan, we have been encouraged to put forward in writing any other suggestions that we want to put into that plan. That again gives me optimism and hope for this GNU and the future of our country. And this province will play its part. We spend days, nights, months and years putting systems and people in place so that we can enable our 90,000 teachers, nurses, doctors, road crews, social workers, traffic officers, our administrators and many, many more to work for all the residents of the Western Cape, particularly the vulnerable who rely so heavily on government services. I thank each of you for your service to the people. I thank my office, my family. Speaker, I thank all of your partners and your families who also play their part, enabling all of us as servants of the people of this province. Speaker, we have done so much already, but we cannot afford to rest and let our guard down. We must work harder than ever before with a purpose and determination to ensure our province and citizens keep succeeding. Speaker, I have no delusions about the challenges that lie ahead or the crises we may face. When I took the Premier's oath of office 5 years ago, I swore to uphold and protect the dignity of all of our citizens. This has not changed. I have faith in our remarkable province and country, because I have seen firsthand what is possible when we work with purpose and dedication. Speaker, in this term of the 7th administration, as we move forward, let us not squander this moment in our country's history. Let us show that the centre can hold against extremist forces on the right and the left that seek to divide us and act in the interests of the minority, not the majority of our residents. Speaker, let us work together with renewed purpose and commitment in the service of the people of our beautiful country and this beautiful province. I thank you.
Order. Thank you very much, Honourable Premier. Honourable Members, in terms of Rule 15 of the Standing Rules, the Premier's opening address will be placed on the order paper for debate. Honourable Members and guests, you are requested to remain standing in your places while the procession leaves the chamber. I would like to invite all members and guests for some refreshments after the adjournment of the House in the members' dining room on this floor. And Honourable Members, please note that on Thursday, the 1st of August 2024, the proceedings will commence at 9:30. Honourable Members, that concludes the business for the day, and the House is adjourned.